Well, hello, my beautiful Virgos. Listen, thank you so much for all the views and watching my videos. I know it's been a while since I've been on. I just moved back to California. I tried to make it in Texas. It is way too hot. I can't do it. So, welcome everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cindy. I am the modern day spiritual advisor. I use multiple modalities, including astrology, tarot, mediumship, hypnotherapy, all kinds of stuff to help you on your path. So, my gorgeous ones, because this is so late, I'm going to be doing July and August. We've had a lot of things that have happened. We have a lot more things that are going to be happening. And because this video can get so long, I'm going to separate the tarot and the astrology into two different videos. So those of you that just like the astrology, you can do that or watch both videos. I will put this one up first. Then I'm going to do Pisces and Aquarius next, and then I'll do the tarot for all three. Okay, so let's get started. We have a whole bunch of things to go through. So we just had the partial solar eclipse in Cancer, 20 degrees of Cancer. It was opposing, still is, the sun is opposing Pluto. So this, my beautiful Virgos, is happening in your 11th house. And this is your 6th house, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, 5th house. I was looking at your 6th house earlier about something else. Okay, so this is going to be in your 5th house. So Pluto is about transformation. Pluto is about controlling. And the 11th house is about groups and networking. This 11th house supports your 10th house, right? So the 11th house has to do with the reason for your purpose or the resources for your life purpose, because that's the 10th house, right? So it has to do with the groups and the way that you handle groups and the way that you're dealing with groups, right? Well, with this partial solar eclipse, let's talk about what solar eclipses are to begin with, right? So solar eclipses have to do with, eclipses in themselves, let me back up. Eclipses in themselves have to do with your soul's journey, right? It has to do with your higher self, being divinely guided. These are things that will happen because they're supposed to on your path, right? That's why you came here. One of the reasons why you came here. And this is so that you can grow your light, so you can grow your awareness, so you can grow your involvement, right? So you can grow your soul, right? So that's what eclipses have to do with. Now, the solar eclipse gives us something. It will bring us something, right? And this is something so that we can fulfill and experience certain desires that we want to in this world, like in this lifetime, the things that we want to do. And so because of that, when we have the solar eclipse, you can have like new beginnings, and something's going to be given to you, and there's a lot of transformation going on, right? Now, with the solar eclipse, because this was a partial and not a full solar eclipse, we're going to have the full solar eclipse in August. The partial would mean to me that you would be getting notification or news or sort of a clue as to what's going to be going on for the next 6 to 12 months, right? And so when this happens, for this partial eclipse that happened on the 13th or the 12th for some of you, like, you have to take notice of what was being brought to your awareness, what is sort of trying to change in your awareness, right? And so that's what the solar eclipse is about. Now, you're not going to, I give it to you this way, I gave it to this way, the Cancer's like, for you guys, maybe you were looking for a job, right? Maybe you were trying to understand what type of job you wanted, or the job that you have, are you going to go into more of a niche or an in-depth field, right? And so in the partial solar eclipse, maybe they brought you word. Maybe you got word that you might get this job, or maybe you got word that you got the job, or maybe you got word that you got the position, or maybe you got word that you got the bonus with more responsibility, right? So, or you got the project. So when you have the full solar eclipse in August is when you'll actually be doing it. That's when all this stuff comes forth, okay? So the partial eclipse was there to bring you sort of an indication, an awareness, a sort of clue as to where you're going in the next 6 to 12 months, right? So that's kind of what the partial eclipse was for me. Now, it's opposing and this is what everybody was talking about, it's opposing Pluto. And so Pluto wants to transform, Pluto wants to control, right? And so because it's retrograde, it's having to redo, amend, revise, right? And this is in your fifth house of creativity, in your fifth house of love affairs. So it could be that maybe you do have a love affair within this group of people. Like maybe you met somebody in this group of people and you're trying to figure out, you know, where your boundaries are with this person, where your boundaries are with this group. Like how you're going to finagle you being involved with this person in this group. That's just one scenario. That's not all of it. But it could be about a project and you getting along with other people and how that's going to work out and where you're going to put your boundaries in, because this is your fifth house of creativity. It's also your fifth house of love affairs, right? So, I mean, the fifth house is much more than that, but this can rule like past lovers coming in, right? They can come back in at this time to be completing something. And so with this partial solar eclipse, whatever happened between the 12th and this week, pay attention, because that's going to sort of give you an indication of what's really going to come about when that solar eclipse happens. Now, for me, the lunar eclipse is the big dog. The lunar eclipse is the one that you really, that's the thing that's really going to launch you into something, okay? So it's the one that we really sort of need to be focused on. We need to sort of focus on all of it, but we need to be focused on that. So the lunar eclipse is going to be at 4 degrees Aquarius, right? And so that's going to be happening in your 6th house. That's what I was looking at before. So that's in your 6th house. But the thing is, it's going to be conjunct Mars and square Uranus, right? And so before I go into that, let me explain what lunar eclipses are. So lunar eclipse, where a solar eclipse is going to bring something to us. It's going to gift us with something. And this is to help us experience and fulfill these desires that we have in our heart, these things that we wanted on our soul's path, right? The lunar eclipse is going to take something. The lunar eclipse is going to teach us something, right? But what it teaches us is how to not be so attached to certain things, right? And that's different for everybody. So what maybe you attach to something may be different than what I attach to something, right? And so that's what it's trying to teach us, is to sort of detach. Another way to put it is to sort of understand, to let go of what no longer serves you. That's what this lunar eclipse is about. But because this lunar eclipse is going to be on the south node. If you look, here's the north node. The south node is always exact opposite, so it's at 5 degrees in Aquarius, right? And so with the south node, with the lunar eclipse, you could come to an understanding and maybe feel a different way about something or someone when this eclipse happens. And will it happen on that same day? No. For some people, yes, but you're going to have this energy for about up to 5 months. So this is about letting go. And you don't let go of things all at once. Some of you can, but some of you will let go of it in layers, understand it better in layers, right? And so you'll be working on this. So there could be something or someone that you're changing the way that you feel and understand and think about that situation or that someone, right? And the other thing too that you'll be working on is letting go, right? But the great thing about this, because it's with your south node, this is a way for you to finish up old karma. This is a way for you to complete this. Now, this is an opportunity for you to be able to end old karma or complete these contracts. Like you can say, you know what, I've done all I can in this situation or with this person, and I'm done. I'm done. I think I've upheld my contract, or I think I'm done with this situation. I've learned all I can. I've learned all I want, and I want to move in this direction. That's what this ending old karma, it can be, because it has to do with the south node. So with the lunar eclipse, you could be completing some things, completing this old karma, completing some things that you've been working on with this Mars retrograde. But with this, the way that the lunar eclipse is going to work is there's going to be some sort of chaos that's going to come with it to be able to make this happen. And that is because we have this Uranus squared. So you have this Uranus squared here, which is going to shift things. Remember, Uranus likes to shock and awe, and it likes to shift. But it likes to shift so that it can liberate you, so that you can feel better, right? It's going to get you to that point. So it's going to shift it for you. And that is in your ninth house of belief systems. So the ninth house is not just about belief systems, it's about foreign travel. And I've noticed that your Jupiter is in your third house, which is also about travel. So you could be, whatever this, because it's now not retrograde, it now went direct. So whatever you've been planning here in this third house with communication, with short travel, with your siblings, with media, writing, any of that, that thing that you've been working on could actually start coming through for you. And because this Uranus is in your ninth house, I feel like if some of you were planning foreign travel or dealing in, because your 11th house was lit up too, if you're dealing with foreign people or foreign contracts, like those things could shift and come through too, okay? So understand that in this lunar eclipse, it's about letting go. It's about, and it's opposing, right? So it's this lunar eclipse. So you've got this north node, the south node going on. You've got, you know, this old karma being done, but you've got this Mars retrograde here that's conjunct. So it's going to do something in chaos, and you may be feeling a lot of anxiety, a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, because you're fighting with yourself, or you're fighting with the situation, right? Or you may be fighting with that, okay? So hang in there. This is all to get you to think about what eclipses actually are, like in a practical manner. If you think about the way that they are, eclipses put you at that, it eclipses the energy, and it puts you at 0 point energy. 0 point energy is like, it's got a lot of energy in there, right? And so it's actually like you being brought to that 0 point energy, and then you get to thrust yourself or focus your attention into a new direction that your life path wanted to go, that you wanted to experience, these desires that you wanted to do. But to be able to get the most out of where you're going, I've said this before, I'll say it again, there's only so much energy that you can run through you in this resonance, in this physical resonance, in this life that you have. In your higher self, in your whole being, you can run unlimited amounts of energy. But in this resonance, in this lifetime, you have only so much that can run through you. So all the things that you're not letting go of, all the people, all the situations, all the things that no longer serve you, that you keep, all the past trauma that you hold inside, all of that you keep walking around with you, and you keep going and moving forward in your life, that is taking up the energetic field around you and keeping you from your abundance. So when this lunar eclipse happens, and it gives you the opportunity to let go, to end old karma, to complete contracts, to let go of what no longer serves you, when you do that, you will free up your energetic field to be able to run more abundance through you. That means your abundance can come through, but that's up to you. We have free will. So all these things, all this way, all these planets that are here to help, all this resonance that can be pulled and taken and moved you into a different direction, that's up to you. You always have the choice to say yes or no. You can choose, no, I'm not going to let go of this. This hurt me too bad. I can't let go of this. That would mean, you know, that really didn't mean anything. I mean, that's kind of up to you. You're the I am. So if you want to let go of it, then now is the time. They don't want you to ever just say, okay, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let it go. They want you to understand it. Understand why that happened. Why did you want to experience those things? Why did those things come in for you? Why did that person come in and do that? Why did that person come in and show you this? What did you learn now? How are you now than you were back then? How are you different? What have you learned? How have you grown? That's the understanding they want. When you do that, you can have a great understanding and let that energy go. And when you do that, you free up your energy field to be able to bring in more abundance, to be able to bring in the experiences that you want to have, the path that you're trying to get to, right? So that's what all this is about. It's just going to feel like chaotic because you're going to be fighting with yourself and fighting to do what you think is the right thing or the wrong thing, or you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, or, you know, I'd rather not say anything. I mean, everybody's kind of different. So that could be happening with these eclipses. All right. I just wanted to make that make you aware of that, of that's what's going on with these eclipses. And I do want to warn you that Uranus being squared here with this big energy here, this is a shift that's coming. It's a shift that's coming. So if it's meant to be on your path, it's going to shift it, right? All right, so that's all I'll say about that. Again, this is an opportunity to finish up your karma. Let go of what no longer serves you. So we talked about Jupiter going direct. It will be direct until November 8th, and it is in your third house. So what's your third house about? This has to do with your siblings, your communication, short travel. This has to do with acquaintances, coworkers. And the reason I mention those is because your 11th house had that partial solar eclipse. So there's something there. This has to do with the skills. It could have to do with, like I said, short distance traveling. It could have to do with your neighbors, your siblings, or your friends, okay? Or even those groups that you're talking about. Okay, so with Jupiter, whatever you've been working on there in that third house, that's now freed up because it's gone direct. Jupiter wants to expand that house. Jupiter wants to help you grow. Jupiter wants to help you learn to communicate in an efficient and an evolved way, right? And so whatever you've been working on that, it looks like that's moving forward for you. So I just wanted to mention that. Now, Mercury goes retrograde on July 26th. And this is going to be, let's look here, sorry. So Mercury goes retrograde on July 26th. This is going to be in your 12th house. So you probably already started feeling it, my beautiful Virgos, because y'all are really, really evolved and sensitive. So when your 12th house is lit up like this, you could have vivid dreams. You could also want to start to isolate yourself because you're trying to really study and try to figure out something. The 12th house is about, like, you get that feeling where you're like, I know something's there and I need to understand it, but I can't figure it out. Like, it could get frustrating for you. And so just understand that during this time, July 26th through August 19th, Mercury is going to be retrograde in your 12th house. So do it this way, Virgo. You don't have to do it anyway, but if you want my guidance, I would do it this way. I would, before you go to sleep, because you're having such vivid dreams, that's when your ego gets in balance and your higher self and your loved ones and your guides and your angels, that's when they all can come through. Like, they're always trying to come through, but you can actually hear them and see them in your dreams. Before you go to bed each night, whatever is really bothering you, whatever that thing is, that question you have, or that thing that you're trying to be guided by, I would call to them, and I would start thinking about it, like, right before you go to bed. Think about the question. Think about the question. Like, ask the question over and over and over again until you fall asleep. You may not hear it the first night. It may take 3 nights. It may take 5 nights. It may take 1 night. Like, it's kind of, everybody's different. And so ask the question and ask them if they would answer it and help you remember when you wake up. Okay? So your 12th house will be lit up. You'll find yourself wanting to isolate. You may have already started wanting to do that. Just remember that when Mercury goes retrograde, to be sure and handle all your contracts, anything that you've been working on, you are welcome to continue working on and start. Like, you can start something in Mercury retrograde if you'd already been working on it, right? And because we've had all these other retrogrades, I'm sure you've been working on things. But I wouldn't start anything brand new. Like, brand new, by brand new, I mean like, oh, I just thought about that this morning, let me start it, right? But if it's something that you've been thinking about, you've been kind of working on, then you let it go, and then you kind of thought about it again, let it go. If it's that, then absolutely you can start it. That's not a brand new beginning, so it should be okay. So Venus has now moved into your sign. Now Venus, the planet of love, luck, and money, that's in your sign. And by the way, for those of you that are Virgos, this goes for Virgo sun, moon, and ascending, or rising, whichever you want to call it. So you just look at it from that aspect, right? When I do these videos, I'm looking at it from the rising, but it applies to sun and moon as well, okay? So Venus has moved into your sign. Venus wants to bring you love, luck, and money in your physicalness, right? So you could have money coming in. You absolutely could have money coming in with these solar eclipses. If you handle this lunar eclipse the way that your soul wants to handle it, in that, okay, it's really time to let this go so that I can have more room for my abundance. If you handle it in that manner, you're going to free yourself up to have the abundance, to have the people come in, to have the relationships come in, to have the money come in, to have the house come in, to have, like, you have to have room in your energetic field for that. And if you really let go, really in this contract, really do this, then Venus is there to bring you love, luck, and money. That solar eclipse is there to bring you all kinds of stuff. Okay, so that's what's going to be going on for July. Now let's talk about August. August 7th. Let's look at August 7th. So, you got that square there. You got that square there. There we go. Okay, so August 7th, Venus is going to enter Libra, right? Now, this is your second house of finances, second house of what you value, right? What you put value to your first house, to you, to your identity. The example that I always give is, I really wanted that car, so I went and got 2 extra jobs. I got that car, and like, now that I look at that car and I get in that car, I'm like, yeah, I did this. I got that car. This is me, right? So that's like the value. But it has to do with your finances and things, right? That support your first house, what supports you, okay? So whatever you don't get in your first house, when it's in your first house, Venus, it's going to bring love, luck, or money into your second house. Now, depending on your chart, depending on where you are on your path, it'll bring 1 of the 3, 2 of the 3, or all 3, okay? So just be aware of that. But it's going to do it in a very Libran way, which means Libran always wants to deal with other people, relationships, and Libra always wants to be balanced, okay? It doesn't mean that the universe has to be balanced. It means that in their head it has to be balanced, okay? So I hope that makes sense. That means for some of you, it may not be a lot of money. It may be enough money, and maybe it comes through somebody. Maybe somebody comes and brings you some money, right? Or maybe somebody comes to you, because it is Libra, so maybe you meet someone. Or it could be, wow, finally I got that luck. Finally I got that position. Finally I was at the right place at the right time, right? Okay, so that's in your 7th house. I mean, in your second house, that's on the 7th. Now we have the 11th. Here's the big dog. So on the 11th, we have this solar eclipse in Leo. Look at all these things in Leo. Your 12th house is lit up. Like, I'm telling you, Virgo, whatever you're going to do, if you aren't very clear about it, when you sleep, ask the question. Because you're going to be getting the answers in your dreams. Or you're going to be getting your answers when you meditate, right? It's when you put your ego in balance. That's this 12th house. This is your connection to the other world, your connection to spirit, your connection to source, God, oneness, your connection to your angels, your connection to your higher self. This is lit up. So something is happening here with your past karma, with your past life, with your life as a child. If you don't believe in past lives, although there's like so much evidence now of it, but this has to do with that. So the sun being in there, the moon being in there, having this eclipse in there, having Mercury in there is really, really going to do something here. And your north node is in there. The north node is in that 12th house. There is something that you are completing. There is something that you are finishing up, and you are moving. It's going to thrust you into that next level. So I know a lot of you are very tired. I know a lot of you have done all the work, and you're like, oh my gosh, when is this going to finally come through? Like, I've had some things, but you know what? I feel like y'all are even past that point. Y'all are like, I don't even have the force to be angry or upset or sad or any of it now. I'm just sort of neutral, right? That's kind of where I feel like you're at. Not everybody, but I feel like the bigger group is that way. And that's because that's exactly where you're supposed to be, in the neutral position, because you're about to be launched into something else. You're about to be launched into that next phase of your life. So congratulations. That 12th house is lit up. Okay? All right. So remember that also this, because this is your 12th house, Mars is going to be moving. That's on the 11th, but on the 12th, Mars is moving into Capricorn. I think it's in. Maybe it's the 19th. Hold on. I gotta. Nope. It's the 12th or the 13th. Sorry. So for some of, it depends on where you are in the world. Some of you the 12th, some of you the 13th. So Mars on the 12th or the 13th, Mars is moving into Capricorn. It's still retrograde, but it's moving where it's going to go direct, right? So Mars is going to behave very differently in Capricorn than it did in Aquarius, and Mars is now going to be moving into your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th house, okay? So in your 5th house, again, this could have to do with your, this house rules love affairs, but it also rules like, for you guys, I would say, this house rules past life credit that's due to you in this life. So maybe you were the person that gave everything in the past life, right? And so in this life, you get to receive these big things because you did the suffering and you did all the other work in the past lives, right? And so that's what they mean by like good credit. So for you guys, I see that happening in this way for you. I see that for some of you, this good stuff that because I feel like a lot of you are going to be launched into this next phase. That's just how I'm feeling. That's what I'm getting. And so this is about, for some of you, it could be about that. These things coming to you. Maybe some of you a windfall. Maybe some of you, your businesses get, to the next level. If you're in the entertainment industry, if you're writing a book, like any of that, you have your own business, right? But it's also about people coming back to so that you can complete things. Okay, so that's this 5th house. So when Mars enters this is reevaluating, amending, adjusting, trying to figure it out, right? And as Mars moves into there, you're going to have to, and with your 12th house lit up, there is something going on there that's connected either to your childhood where you did the work and you received some things, yeah, or your past life, okay? I know that's not like what every astrologer says, but that's what I'm seeing. So the thing is that it's squaring Uranus, okay? So it's going to square Uranus, and Uranus is in, this is your 1st house, 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th. The 9th house, the belief system. So remember, Uranus likes to shift things, and it will shift things so that you can be liberated, so that you can understand, so that you can breathe better. So if this means that you have to, like if somebody gets a windfall, or if somebody gets that job, or if somebody gets that, if you get that career that actually helps you believe and understand that you did really come here to do this, that your heart was saying what it really wanted, right? That's Uranus. Uranus will shift you like that, okay? So I hope that helps. I mean, there's a lot of scenarios. Whatever this is, though, it's going to be very grounded because Capricorn is methodical, Capricorn's thought out, and Capricorn's very grounded. Capricorn will be very stable. That's why he or she does not move until they know the next 10 steps, right? Like they're going to make sure. So whatever this is that's coming, it's going to be here for a long time, okay? Now, on the 24th, some of you the 25th. So not only in July did you have Virgo in your sign, but now you have the sun coming in your sign. And so we have happy birthday to you guys. So the sun's coming in your sign. Anytime Venus and the sun are in a sign, you look beautiful. You can't do wrong. Everything goes your way. Like whatever you want, you're shining. You're bright, you're shining, everything's clear, you know what you want to do. Like all of that's happening when when the sun goes into Virgo. And especially after these 2 eclipses, like when we have the eclipses, the unfolding is what's going to be happening in the next 6 months, the next 8 months for some of you, and up to a year for some of you. It kind of depends on your chart. Some of you, it's in the next 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. These things are going to be unfolding for you. So you may not get all of your gifts right away, but they'll be unfolding. Things will happen. Your thing is, what you need to do to help this energy is to let go of what no longer serves you and focus on what you really want, okay? So that it thrusts you into the direction that your heart and your soul is desiring. There's these things that you came here to do. There are these things that you came here to experience. There are these relationships and situations that you wanted to experience in the physical. That's what this is for, okay? So then on the 26th, we have a full moon in Pisces, and that is going to be in your 7th house, Virgo, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So it's not conjunct Neptune. It is close to Neptune, but it's not conjunct Neptune. So it's almost conjunct. It's like, what, 9 degrees, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, 9 degrees. So, I mean, yeah, I guess it could be conjunct. I always like to go 8 degrees and below. But, so Neptune and the moon is in your 7th house. Or, sorry, Neptune and the moon are in your 7th house. So they're going to be on your 7th house on the 26th. This is a full moon. A full moon, again, is about letting go. A full moon, again, is about things coming in because you've let go. Destiny, fate, things coming in for you, right? And this is very Piscean. And so Piscean and Neptune and the moon, all three of those mean instant manifestation. It doesn't have to be very grounded. It can be instant manifestation. That's kind of up to you and what you're going to allow to come through, right? But it being your 7th house, the 7th house is about relationships and boundaries and things happening for you, right? People coming in, relationships coming in. And so if you're ready and it's on your path and you're willing and you're allowing and it's time, then you could have somebody coming in during this time. Especially if you've been clearing. If you've been clearing and letting go of these contracts, you know, it could be time for somebody to come in. And it can be instant because you've got Pisces, Neptune, and the moon. Like, this is all instant manifestation, right? And so we're talking about relationships. So some of you with this full moon will have to let go of a relationship. But some of you, letting go of the relationship or letting go of maybe a business partner, or letting go of something is going to could bring you instant manifestation of somebody else coming in or another situation coming in of abundance. And that's kind of up to you, okay? With all this energy, that's like very, like, it doesn't have to be grounded to come in. It absolutely can just come from nowhere. That's very, very ethereal Piscean. But it's up to you, Virgo. What are you going to allow? Okay, so then on the 27th or 28th, kind of depends on where you're at in the world. Oh, 28. So I've got it on the 28th. Could be the 27th for some of you. Mars is going direct. So these things that you've been working on in Capricorn, in your 5th house, this creativity, this love affair, this thing is actually moving direct. And as this gets closer in September, October, as it gets closer to Pluto, it's going to be manifesting some things. So those things that you've been working really hard on, those things that you continue to work really hard on, those things are going to be manifesting physically for you as it gets closer to Pluto and transforms you. Okay? So I hope this helped. I love you, love you, love you. Thank you again so very much for watching all my videos. I so appreciate you. And I will have the other tarot videos out later on. I wouldn't say in a couple of hours because I got to do the other 3 videos. Okay? So, love you, love you, love you. Bye.